Ohio State's unselfish mentality will be key to the Buckeyes taking down a tough Iowa team.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a feel-good Friday edition of Locked On Buckeyes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, here on Friday, October 4th in the year 2024. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Ohio State has been preparing all week long to face a tough Iowa football team. You already know with Kirk Ferentz leading the squad, they're going to be physical, they're going to be fundamentally sound, they'll be disciplined, and you better bring your A game. And the Buckeyes must bring that unselfish mentality they've had all year long on offense, on defense. It does not matter. The Buckeyes have been unselfish in every game they played this year, and they're going to have to be unselfish tomorrow to beat Iowa, and I think they will. I think that unselfish mentality that they have, it's not just something that was an off-season thing or something that we saw circulating around the socials when there are players getting baptized. I think that unselfish mentality is around everybody that's on the team, going through the coaches as well. Everyone is just saying it's not about me. It's about the team collectively. All 100-plus players, all of the coaches that are position coaches, the coordinators, it's about all of us. And what can I do to help the big picture, which is not just win the game, but is to win the national championship. And with the game tomorrow against Iowa, you're going to have to realize that, hey, maybe your playing time is going to be more in this game than others, or maybe it's going to be less than others. No matter what you think it's going to be, roll with the punches as the game is being played. The same thing goes for on offense. We have seen, I think at one game, there were 5 tight ends that played in one half. And I'm thinking, I can't think of the last time. I remember 4 tight ends playing in one half. This time it was 5 and a half, and it didn't seem like anybody was out of place. The unselfish nature that we have seen, we see it with the tight ends. We see it even with the running backs between Henderson and Judkins. We see it with the receivers. Everybody is just getting out of their own way and stepping into the realm of what can I do for the team? That's how I think Ryan Day's been trying to pitch this thing and wants this thing to go all along. Don't just think about yourself. Think about the team. And I think this is coming out right now because in my mind, I saw a player, forget the school that he plays at, but it was a young man that just entered the portal in October, played his 4 games this year. He's played all that he's going to do. He's going to redshirt, and he's going to enter the portal. A lot of people are making very selfish decisions. A lot of athletes are making very selfish decisions and saying, oh, no, I want more money, or, oh, no, I'm not going to finish this year with my squad. I am going to enter the portal and stop playing with the team that I've been grinding with all year. That doesn't sit well with me. What also wouldn't sit well with me is if Ohio State players rolled into the shoe tomorrow and had this me-first mentality. If you went out there and you saw number 32 and number 1 kind of button heads and said, what are we doing? What's going on? Why in the world is this actually happening? All of a sudden you find out, oh, one guy wants more touches than the other. Not even carries, just more touches. Why wasn't that the case the first 4 games? Oh, because y'all were winning big, and it was a non-conference game, and then we played one Big Ten opponent. And so now that we're getting deeper and playing better opponents, now you don't want to be unselfish. Now you want to think about yourself and put you first. That's not the way that championship teams think. You have to say team first. Team first now. There's always going to be guys on national championship winning teams that are thinking about themselves, thinking about just them individually, their stats, their numbers, and nobody else. That's always going to be the case. But that can't be the case this year on offense or on defense because it's not the way things have rolled so far when the Buckeyes have seen a lot of success. And tomorrow against Iowa, if you go roll out there and you start having fighting in huddles and guys on the field, oh, coach called this. No, I think this should be the move. I'm going to do this. Kirk Ferentz is going to just lead Iowa right into the shoe, methodically move right down the field. They got a talented running back. The O-line is really, really good. Trust me. I encourage all of you right now to go look at look at Iowa film from this year and come back and say, oh, this Iowa team can play. These big boys are moving. I've seen plays, and I was watching Iowa play a little bit, and there was two guys, backside guard and tackle, pulling around, and it's like, oh, shoulders are square. They're not missing steps. They are getting right to where they need to be, the quickest path that they can find. They are taking that path every single time. And I was just blown away and mind blown at how well, how crisp the O-line play of Iowa is. Well, if Ohio State rolls in tomorrow, and let's just say that with Tyleik Williams being back and Tuimoloau and Sawyer being big pieces of the pie, let's just say that all of a sudden these guys are saying, we're not rotating. Oh, no, we're not rotating. We're going to play as much as we can. As much as somebody will let us, we're going to play all of that. Now, granted, I don't think Ohio State should rotate as much as they have been. I truly don't think that at all. But what I do think is if you start putting yourself before the team, this is the kind of game where you could trip up. This is the kind of game where you could find yourself behind the 8 ball and all of a sudden you're trying to come back from being 10 down. Why? Because you're thinking about yourself and not the team. Iowa's going to think about the team. The Hawkeyes are always a team-first group of athletes. Ohio State needs to be that way too. And earlier in this segment, in the beginning of this show, I talked about, well, national championship teams have this quality and national championship winning teams have that quality. Because that's what Ohio State is striving for this year. The Buckeyes are not striving for, it's the same old, just do that same old song and dance once again. They're not striving for that. They're striving to win the national championship this year. The first one Ohio State would have won since 2014. Ryan Day has built this roster to accomplish that goal. And if you're going to accomplish that goal, players can't be selfish. You can't put yourself first. It's always team first, big picture. You have to trust your coaches, Jim Knowles and Chip Kelly and Ryan Day and all the position coaches and all the analysts and all the quality control guys. You have to trust them because they're putting you in the right place to be successful. The game plans are team-specific, and the offense is team-specific. So if that's the case, let's just see what happens as you get deeper into Big Ten play. Until something goes awry, there's no reason for anybody to go crazy, no reason for anybody to pull their hair out, no reason for anybody to do anything drastic because stuff ain't really gone that crazy yet. I say yet. I'm not saying it will, but it's a possibility. What's also possible is that Ohio State remains unselfish. Carnell Tate on all the receivers, they're saying whoever's hot, whoever is open, throw them the ball. We're going to continue to block downfield and open up lanes, clear pass on the outside for our talented running backs to roam free all over the field. You can't be selfish against Iowa because if you are, Iowa's good enough to beat you. Here's what I think, though. I don't think Ohio State's going to be selfish. That unselfish mentality, as G. Scott said, we all have a common mission. That's exactly what Ohio State has. That common mission is leading the Buckeyes to be unselfish. And I do believe that's going to be a big reason, one of the many reasons the Buckeyes are victorious tomorrow against the Hawkeyes. Not only will the Buckeyes be victorious because of their unselfish mentality, but also the Buckeyes better bring their hard hats because, man, Iowa's going to come ready to play. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And some of you are looking to put some money on the Buckeyes tomorrow. I believe the last time I checked, the line at FanDuel for Ohio State's 3:30 kickoff against Iowa was the Buckeyes minus 19.5. I'm telling you, take that. I take it. The over-under, I believe, was at 44.5 last I checked. Take the over. I'll tell you why here in a second. That's just my thoughts right now. I'm not sure what yours are, but mine might make you some money. All the action goes down in a couple places on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and at FanDuel.com. This episode is brought to you by Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus has the best selection of pool tables, game tables, shuffleboard tables, and more, and the best service in Central Ohio. Everything you need for in-home and backyard entertainment is at Billiards Plus. They are family-owned and operated, and when you talk to the staff at Billiards Plus, guys, you're going to know you're talking to an expert who won't steer you wrong. No matter the season, Billiards Plus has you covered for all your indoor and outdoor entertainment needs. Kenny, Sarah, and the whole staff will always go above and beyond to give you the best customer service in the industry. Billiards Plus. Visit their showroom on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. So far this season, Ohio State has not played any team like Iowa that has a fundamentally sound and very physical O-line and fundamentally sound and very physical defensive line. Michigan State, Western Michigan, Akron, Marshall, none of them had that thing said about them. So when you think about that and the physical nature that Iowa's going to bring on both sides of the ball, and it's going to strive to win the battle in the trenches, but also you bring not only a physical nature, but a fundamentally sound and very disciplined team, and then you realize how athletic those offensive linemen are, the Buckeyes better bring their hard hats, as JT Tuimoloau said during a recent presser this week. You better bring your hard hat because Iowa's going to push you. Iowa's going to make you be a blue-collar worker. Iowa's going to make you want to do some things you don't want to do. But if you come prepared to do some things you don't normally do, but you're ready to change your game up a little bit, you'll be A-okay. Here's what Tuimoloau had to say, not only about Iowa running back Caleb Johnson, but also about what Ohio State must bring to the game. Quote, he's a big back. He's also very patient. He can hit holes very quickly for his size. He doesn't go down easily. We understand we have to bring our boots and bring our hard hat and just be ready for battle, end quote. He understands what the assignment is. Tuimoloau understands that if you don't bring your hard hat, if you don't bring your boots, you might get ran right over because Caleb Johnson is just that good. But you know what else is that good? Ohio State's rush defense, giving up a whopping, I believe, 61.8 rushing yards a game through the first 4 games. Yo, that's unheard of. That's insane. The ability they have to slow down any rushing attack. Doesn't matter who they're playing so far. Nobody can run on the Buckeyes. And then you get Tyleik Williams back, and he's healthy, and he could have played last week, but they kept him out only in an emergency situation when he stepped on the field to play. But now you got him back. He's rested up. You got Tuimoloau, who is hungry. You got Ty Hamilton, who I think is going to be a big factor for the Buckeyes defense this week. And you got Sawyer chomping at the bit to just go out there and battle. And then you got guys like McLaughlin and Jackson, who have seen a lot of football in college football. They're ready for this. This is the kind of game that you dream of if you're a lineman. Oh, you mean just going to run? Oh, you mean they're going to run the ball? And their O-lineman is going to be pulling around and going to be moving very quickly and trying to do different things to try to trip us up. But basically, it's hat on a hat and move the man on the other side of you. No, not much of the crazy stuff in the backfield. No, it's just more, hey, I know what I'm getting. It's no fluff to it. I just got to make sure I'm ready to play. Now, down the street from my apartment, a big convention center, and a hotel are currently being built. And this is also coming in the same area where they did a multiple month-long plumbing job on Memorial Gymnasium, not far from where I live either. It's a big, massive high school gym that seats about 5,200 people. Been there numerous times, covered a lot of games. It's a fun place to watch play. It's just weird. It's one of the few places I've watched basketball in general that doesn't have AC. And I've covered games there in the summer, and buddy, you are sweating like crazy. But one thing is I'm watching these guys work on the hotel and the convention center and on the plumbing job, the multiple-month plumbing job. These guys got hard hats on, and they got protective boots. I have had various jobs working at airports on the runway for the FedEx or working in various warehouse jobs where they say a part of your PPE or personal protective equipment is you got to wear a certain type of shoe. Now, at FedEx, they also said, hey, you got to wear some reflective shirts or reflective coats or reflective bibs or snow bibs for the cold weather, whatever it might be. It's reflective. There's a certain level of wear, a certain attire we had to wear simply because of the type of work we had to protect us, not only so people could see us, but to protect our feet. Because I have seen people get their foot ran over by big metal cans, but because of the type of footwear they have on, their foot is fine. And it's the kind of game that if you don't have your mind right, not just bringing your boots and bringing your hard hats, bringing your lunch pail, but also if your mind ain't right, buddy, you'll get ran right over. I mean, I know people, multiple people that had their foot ran over where you look at it, you're like, oh man, they are down for a few days, got to go to the hospital, got to get some surgery. No, because they were protected by the stuff that was required of them. Now, what's required of Ohio State? Not only to bring their boots, not only to bring their hard hats, but you got to have your mind right. And this ain't just for the O-line and D-line like I just highlighted earlier. This goes for everybody. The guys in the secondary, you better be ready to bang too. The guys at the skill positions, you better be ready to go hard in the paint too. You must be ready to do some things a little bit dirtier within the confines of the rule book than you normally do, because I was going to push you. I was going to lean on you. I was going to do things you're not used to seeing, because that's what Iowa does. Then you add in one of the best backs in the country that Ohio State's been preparing for all week long. That's another reason to make sure you're physically ready to play. But then there is that former Michigan quarterback, that kid that got this 3-game losing streak started in Cade McNamara. Yeah, he lost his job to J.J. McCarthy in 2022, and we all saw that they were still on that roll with McCarthy at quarterback. I am sure guys like Tuimoloau and Sawyer and Henderson and a lot of those guys that have been at Ohio State for multiple years, and some of them have never beat Michigan, they were on that team in 2021, and they remember what Cade McNamara started, and they are just waiting, chomping at the bit, especially if you're on the D-line, if you're Sawyer or Tuimoloau, to get your chance to get a clean shot. Ain't no targeting, just a clean shot on that quarterback. Got your mind right. If you got your boots and you got your hard hat, trust me, you'll get that clean shot. And I can't wait to see Jack Sawyer and Tuimoloau come around that edge and bam, just take him down. Why? Payback. They still feeling the effects. They're still feeling the scars. They are still feeling the sting of not one, not two, but 3 losses to that team up north in a row. And now the guy that got the whole thing started, the former quarterback that year in 2021, is now with Iowa. I don't think he'll have a big game at all. He's not that kind of quarterback. But I do think Ohio State's defense will make him look silly. And just like when the Buckeyes started hitting Aiden Childs a week ago, they'll start hitting Cade McNamara, and he may say, hey, no mas, I'm done. They keep hitting me so hard, I don't want to go anymore. Why? Because they want payback. And I can't wait for the Buckeyes to get that payback tomorrow in the shoe. Prediction time, baby. I know we don't do what we're going to do next, but when we get deeper into Big Ten play, we got to change things up and discuss certain players that I think will play big tomorrow against Iowa. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. That makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Getting rid of the fluff, making your job a whole lot easier, making your ticket purchasing process a whole lot easier, still allowing you the same great features that Game Time provides with the panoramic view from your seat, their lowest price guarantee, and still providing the Game Time ticket coverage as well. What are you waiting for? Go to Game Time to buy your tickets to your next live event. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.